All right, let's go to part two of this particular drawing now, shall we? So, I just got done with the coloring, texturing, and shading process of this drawing. And now we're about to go over to the ROTC cats. Now, you probably, have seen the drawing already with the ROTC cats. I don't quite remember which one it was in, which album. We've got a lot of albums, like a whole lot. Oh, yeah. So many. Yeah, it was in album 41. Here it is. Even though I know how to draw some of them, it's still good when I have a reference. So, we're going to be filling this area up with a bunch of ROTC cats. So, the Weird Factory. Last we talked about the Weird Factory, we were talking about personal rooms. But, yeah, anyways, we have got the lobby pretty much done with. Then I have the hallways to make. And I looked up the information that I have set for that. One particular theme has 4 rooms using it. Four rooms using the same theme. Christ, I cannot think. I'm so tired. But yes, each brain. No, what I'm trying to say here is that we have 10 themes. We have 10 total themes going throughout the entire facility. 2 of each uses 1. I'm pretty sure only 1 uses 2. 1 uses 4, and the rest uses the rest uses 3. Should not try to do math while I'm like 6 hours of sleep in. So, yeah. We got a significant amount of rooms, 10 to work with. I think all I really had to do was like draw the hallways, and then for each unique one, I basically just had some. What's the word I'm looking for? Add the decoration necessary for the room. Most of the rooms are basically the same, with the exception of some of the lower levels with some certain thematic going on. At the very least, like a small amount. But right now, we're focusing on drawing the cats for, at the very least, the lobby. I want to have a significant amount of cats, but I don't want to be here all night when I have to try to get done with more than a few. And the cats in general, even if they are rather simple, the coloring process will take ages because I gotta put in so many layers and stuff. It's best that we want to try to keep it slightly contained, but not too contained to where we just don't have a whole lot of cats here. I would say at least a good grand total of maybe a dozen. I've decided to leave the door closed for this. Have all of the hallways and the description of the deviation. I gotta widen your eyes a bit. There we go. They're essentially just like basic looking cats. They're nothing too huge. They're supposed to be more like cartoony and simplistic. So you can mass draw a whole bunch of them. Head shape and all that stuff usually consistent to this oval-esque kind of shape. Maybe like less oval for this one, more out this way. And the cat's messing with something back there. Psst. She's climbing on something. Sounds like she's climbing on something rickety or whatever it's called. Yeah, most of the cat's ears, looking back on the reference drawings, are facing forward unless it's sideways. kind of like Mickey Mouse ears, but not entirely, because if he goes sideways, the ears go sideways, they don't follow the same pattern. It's better to have it this way, at least. If you see these ears and stuff. On a 3D landscape, obviously, I would keep it as such as like the ears and the positions. We don't need to go all out, first of all. And second, oops. I don't even know if you saw this, but I accidentally opened up WordPad. See what I mean? Just climbing everything. And looking back, yeah, most of the cat's ears are behind the head layer here. So yes, that's what we're gonna do. Sometimes it's hard to keep the same shape. You gotta try your best there. And they only have 3 whiskers. Pretty easy to get done with right there, and that's for certain. We don't need to redraw it, we just need to copy and paste it in its position right here. And the cat's needing the blanket now. It's not as cold, but I have to wear double socks so my feet doesn't freeze. At the very least, it's more comfortable. But double the socks means double the dang laundry. Right, now for the whiskers. I'm just looking back. All the whiskers are outside of it. Yep, well, not all of them. Some of them have it on certain parts of their body. I'm debating whether I should draw a person or not. Kind of just like have the cat service the person by telling them where the room they want is. Just look at that face. I feel like I can probably make this less smaller. Uh-oh. I'm not sneeze. Alright, let's see. So, now for their little round bodies. Most of the ROTC cats don't look like they have necks, just go into their bodies. Almost like Sonic characters. Oh, no, not really. I'm talking, I guess, yes, technically speaking, we're going back in the olden days of the classic era and not the modern era. Well, even though the modern era still had somewhat no neck in the 3D games beginning. The beginning of it all. But yes, these cats, they definitely are not similar to our cats in the modern like variation. The ancient ones are more similar, but they still possess the same like scheme. What do you call it? Their heads are round, but they still have like that normal cat body. And you don't need to see the bottom here because you're gonna have his little hands like right here. You can't just putting its hand or technically its nub, its little chow nub with its no actual paws here on the holographic keyboard. I mean, yeah, we're going for a sci-fi futuristic look. We don't want to have like any physical kind of stuff, you know? We want the keyboard to be more holographic. Less chance of the thing breaking, more chance of everything working as it should. And plus, they have infinite power, like I said before, so they will constantly be at work here, doing their thing, without having to worry about things breaking. Plus, it's easy to maintain. You have to assume that these cats have some form of atomic manipulation device, correct? How else would they have been able to have built this entire facility if not for some way to, like, build the rooms and all that template stuff without, like, a massive amount of work? Yeah, sure, they built their little towers with actual wood and stone, but they don't really have metal work down to a point like this. I guess they don't want to really use atomic manipulation here because of how advanced it is. And all the other stuff that they do back at the little villages is basically just, well, you got 100 cats. Hundreds and thousands of cats. It's safe to assume that once they are able to acquire all the materials, they can just get like a couple dozen thousands working on one building, and then boom, in a second the building is done. Although I don't think they would do that. Now for the next cat, the second cat. Gotta try to control the size of their head. Make sure it's not too big, but not too small either. Make sure it's round, but not too round. Oval, but not too oval. You're looking at this cat looking down. Usually. Yep. Like that. Pretty easy. It could take like, 5, maybe less than 5, around 5 minutes per cat. So maybe 3 minutes per cat. It's 11 right now. Not counting the time that we have currently with this cat, so we'll see how long it takes to complete. Oh, wait, right, before I do that. I don't really have much to say right now. Kinda tired. Real tired. Cat looks too sad. I need to try to adjust their eyes to grab the damn thing to be more nonchalant. Where is it? Cat, move it down here and move it over here. It's just about right. Maybe like up more. And now that cat's ears is still in that particular position. This one I think we can just go on ahead and do a little bit of double copy paste. And then that will be the head. Next up is the whiskers, the body. We'll probably have the cat's arms going down because it's looking at the screen. That would be a weird system to have. Screen at the bottom, keyboard above the screen. But that's the system they have. I mean, if they have long arms, it could probably actually easily get that stuff set in. Just like long arms here, keyboard, look down. I mean, they would mostly do this, but their paws slamming down on the keyboard thing. We could probably try that. Don't grab that, you fool. And, yeah, we're just drawing cats today. Not entirely too sure what else I could say. Where did we even leave off when I was talking about the Weird Factory? Oh, yeah. In previous drawing, I was talking about Huge This Bag's Buff Ultra Instincts version. The leak that the cats were talking about in the drawing, yes, that was in this factory. That was like before the factory was open. But it's because once this is drawn, the factory is open for business. So assume more weird stuff is going to be coming. Not in the near future, but not as close as you think. I think I do need to make these cats a little bit bigger. Let's see now. We're going to have cats here, probably cat right up here. I mean, it would make sense if the cat's like sitting on something or standing on something in this area. Well, what does this look like? I could probably increase the size of you a little bit. You are closer. Your tail will probably be behind, or I don't know. Maybe we can do this. The realm of the cats kind of remind me of Chow's almost. With like the little bulbous body, or frickin', what do you call it? Cute appearance. Only major difference is they can't change their form. Also, they're furry and not made of water. And also, they wear outfits. Although, no, some chows do wear outfits. Remember Cheese and his little bow tie? At least I think it was a he. I don't remember. It's been a while. Man, it's a shame that they kind of just let that duo off into obscurity. They just removed Cream and Cheese from the entirety of most of their games. Couldn't even do the courtesy of putting her in Forces. At the very least, they had her in the comics from what I've seen. I've only seen snippets of it on Reddit because I'm not really a comic person. The only comic I really gotten into so far is the Harley Quinn comic, but that's only because I've been into the show more recently. Sonic, I've never really been into it comic-wise. It's always just been the games. Not even Sonic X. At that point, I was just like, I didn't have the awareness to keep track of a series that I'm interested in. That's what happens when you're a kid. You don't really keep track of anything you're interested in as much. Now that I'm an adult, or at least somewhat of an adult, sometimes it's hard to really pinpoint that. Sometimes I feel like I'm still a teenager. But don't we all? Don't we all still feel like we are in that? Well, okay, maybe not some. Maybe not all of us. Some of us are forced to get into the family life and forced to be an adult. Even though, well, can't really say that much about it. I don't really know what anyone else's situation is, and I can only just make. I'm just gonna end it here because my brain is shutting down, trying to figure out a way to keep up a conversation as I draw these cats. This is a little bit off, but I think the head here might be a little bit off. Allow me to adjust it. You would think being able to draw these cats consistently, I'd have like a system going, but I don't. I don't have a system. As a matter of fact, I'm going to redo this and try to make this cat's head more oval-like, but not too oval, as I've said before. Yeah, this side profile, this ear is as is, but the back ear is going to be facing back. Although I don't think I need to draw a new one. I think I could probably just get away with doing this and a little bit up. Let me just double check that for a second. Okay, not a little bit up. Just about here. Yep. I can't do high-pitched voices. I mean, I could try. I'd have to get my throat to a specific point, Let's see here. I wasn't even paying attention to what the time. I'm sure you guys can pay attention to how long it took. Just like get the time stamp when I start a cat and boom. I don't really need to pay attention. But yeah, I could try to get my voice high up, but I guess it just depends on my certain mood. And I'm not in the mood to try to replicate any higher pitched voices. I mean, yeah, I could do just Watson or Croc, but that's a deep voice. When my voice is in a certain position, it sounds less feminine. But I do have the ability to do it. I mean, y'all know I can with Jaden. And that's only with like minor pitch adjustments. Not even Crystal, but then again, I don't think you've ever seen a video of Crystal. I know Queenie has, but Crystal is the more shy and timid girl I made in dreams. Maybe one day I will show you her. She actually has like all the parts, and like unlike Jaden, who was a Barbie doll, Kreisenheimen. Also, trying to keep talking is not that easy. Just, your throat gets choked up as you try to think. Yeah, I mean, I could try to do an Irish, or not Irish. Is it Irish? What is it? The dwarf? That's trying to. Oh, yeah. Yeah, anybody keep up a dream? There's like this game called, or game that they put on Dream called Ancient Danger. And you can make your own play set of the game, like your own levels, your own dungeons. Now, it's a kind of like you don't like control a camera in the game. It's like somewhat top down beat 'em up kind of thing. And I took that game and then I turned it into a horror slashing game. There's a berserk mechanic that I disabled in that one so that you can't just steamroll the skeleton enemies that I modified. And another thing is, it's dark. Also, this arm is too small. Also, your, I don't know. Their side, did I draw some? Yeah, I drew the sideways here. But the jets here, well, I don't know. They're more cartoony. They don't really have like a succinct anatomy. Just looking at this freaking cat over here with a hat, fishing pole with a fish. Almost looks like the "Are You Winning, Son" meme. Imagining "Are You Winning, Son" with the cat coming in, and then the baby cat turns around, just nodding his head with a big smile on his face like that, and it just turns around. Just imagine that. That's too big, but I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't understand why, but my brain seems to keep forgetting the walking animation. You go in this direction, right? Arm here, is that right leg out or left leg out? I'm pretty sure it's right leg. Well, if you're walking out, yeah, it should be right leg. Actually, wait, I can just look at this. No, you're holding a basket. That doesn't help. Or, no, wait, what? Left? God, why is that so hard for me to comprehend? Stop trying to make me forget how to do this. From the looks of this cat, it's left leg out. Am I gonna have to get up to freaking do this? Nah, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it right now. Besides, I gotta get some of this done with. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I turned that game, or at least one level. I made one level and had it be like a horror game. Now, basically, the skeletons, they were like goofy and have these weird, goofy skeleton laughs. I deleted most of the things that made them sound like, they were laughing. Just the pitch by a whole lot going downwards, and they sound like actual undead zombies. I adjusted the colors a little bit so that the hands look more bloody, and they got their skulls there. That enemy has a mechanic where they are essentially, you're able to remove their heads. And when you remove their heads, they're a small, like that, because there's another enemy in the game that is basically just a skeleton head. So when you remove that particular skeleton's head, or the skeleton whatever they called it, that spawns one of those heads, which is its head, and then you have two separate enemies to fight, while the other one is somewhat weak, but not entirely. And, I removed the head. Like, when you kill it, the head doesn't, the head doesn't spawn. When they don't have their heads, they have a certain animation attack, a different attack that plays out, right? What I did instead for this one was to remove that attack, but have it do its original attack, or its first attack with its head on, but at 200% speed. And what that meant was that if you were to remove its head, the enemy would be way more deadlier. And now here's what I did for this one, for this particular enemy. I made them deal like what? Was it 38? No. It was 49. I made them deal 49 damage. And you only had 100 HP. Yeah, see, now that I have something to talk about, everything is more succinct. Everything is actually splicing together properly. Weird, isn't it? Anyways, 49 damage, and that will lift you with 2 HP within 2 hits. Another thing I did, the original didn't have this, I made it so that the main character, there's like 2 characters, I had to get rid of one. The game was made for co-op, but I made my little levels for a single player because, let's be honest, that's a more, this particular thing I'm making is more suited for single player. Anyways, so remove their heads. Sure to like one hit at this point, but if you don't do anything to, stop them, they will attack you quickly. You will have barely any time to block or dodge, depending on what one you want to use. And, yeah, they become more painful to deal with. And I decided to use that mechanic, Decided to have a 10% chance. Sorry, I had a little snack before this. So I decided to use that mechanic and gave them a 10% chance to spawn headless. And you think, alright, that's not that bad, they're going to be a one-shot hit, right? Wrong. When they spawn headless, their health is as if you didn't attack them at all. So now you have these enemies in, which has like 35 HP, but 35 HP don't mean much. I think I looked at the inner mechanizations of this character, because I didn't make this character. I didn't do what I did with the Space Blaster enemies and all that stuff. That stuff I made myself. I decided to take up the challenge and try to use Media Molecule's templates to see what I could do with their stuff. Instead of like, I'm still working on Space Blasters, obviously. Maybe I'll come back, or maybe I'll make the second level for that. Who knows? But with Media Molecule's creations, the way they have everything set up is completely different from the way I have everything set up. I haven't even used the puppets. I mean, most of the things that I've used and made, on a specific, line. And the player ship in Space Blasters follows a line moving left and right. You've seen the videos, you know what I'm talking about. And the same with the enemy ships. They just follow the specific path and a grid movement. And Paint Maze is the same way. With Paint Maze, you basically move the grid on a grid. One block grid. I still want to get back into Paint Maze, but God, I need more time to do that. I mean, yeah, I'm working on Space Blasters. I mean, Space Blasters is easier because there's less back tracing I have to do if I need to update an object. But yeah. For this particular game and all the creations of which Media Molecules give us a kit for, I have no clue the coding of where all that stuff is. I've done my best to try to remove things, to try to clean things up, and let me tell you, Dreams is the kind of game that would benefit from the PS5's hardware with the ability to run more. Because right now, in the first level, only a max of 6 enemies can spawn at once. And a lot of decorations take up a lot of space, which is kind of annoying. Part of me wonders if I could adjust that by having, the things be created in, and then, because this is also good to learn if, once I finish Space Blasters, if I want to decide to try to make the Realm of the Cats game, Mechanical Mayhem. Part of that's going to help because I want to try to make the levels a little bit longer than a minute or 2. Kind of I don't know, maybe the average length of the original Crash Bandicoot games. I'm mostly talking about 2. 1 had some long levels. I think 2 also has some long levels, but I don't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, it would help to learn. And this has helped me a bit in a few departments that I haven't really looked up in. Apparently, I might need to work with puppets in order to actually have the character follow physics, but I don't know, I would like to try to make my own coding for that, you know? Also, it's just good to try to do things my own way, like I have with Chrome Wars Raid Bots. Another game that I wish I was able to finish. I mean, Space Blasters, I at least think I have, like, a chance to be able to finish the arcade mode. Story mode's gonna be a bit tricky. I have no clue how to make good animation and character moving without their lips being like I have with Jada and Crystal. I might have an idea in mind if I want to go for a more stylistic approach for the characters, but at the same time, I have no idea. Right now, it doesn't matter. Right now, I have to get to a point where I can, finish up the main campaign of that. Okay, before I delve deeper into this particular conversation, let me finish up what I was talking about originally, the game that I was talking about. So yeah, I removed most of the Berserk stuff. I kept the 1, 2, 3 hit slash thing. The one where if you time it right, the third attack does more damage. And then the Berserker, I got rid of that to keep the flow steady. I mean, it's a case of you're probably not going to fight more than like 5, 6, or maybe 8 enemies at a time, depending on if I can actually get things set up properly. So, let me run down how the entire level goes, shall I? You can even look it up on Dreams if you want. Just look up my name. It's the same as my YouTube channel, I think. I believe. Unless, wait, it's PS4 and I had a stupid name chosen. Damn you, younger me. But it's fine, it doesn't matter. But, yes. You start off in this, walkway down, and come from the stairs. I mean, the character spawns in the stairs. There's no cutscene of them moving down. And then you go into this dark prison-looking area. You got some bars to the left and the right of you. First going down the set of staircase, and you see multiple doors and prison cells. You got 3 prison cells. Consider this like the holding area. And, wait, I'm gonna have this cat's arms be going in a certain direction. Actually, wait. Better idea. So you have 3 prison cells in this particular area. You got 2 doors. One leading into this weird-looking storage area with the pillars, and that still doesn't look right. With pillars and like an area off to the right to lead you to this area that has like about like the second floor you can see from down here, with a dark pillar or a dark like part of the room underneath the balcony, and a long hallway with a bunch of lights kind of just guiding you over to this table with a key on it. Now, this used to be a chest with a key, but the chests use up a lot, and I mean a lot of gameplay memory, which kind of is annoying. Why does it use up so much gameplay memory? I reduced it to 2 chests at that point because, let's be honest, we want to have more enemies spawn, and we want to be able to make the levels just a little bit longer. So you grab that key, and that's like the main way to, get to the next area. Now, there's another door you can go into. The dining hall, so to speak. The dining hall has, a couple of prison cells with, windows looking back so the prisoners can look at the staff, kind of just, working there, not working there, eating there, enjoying a good meal. Kind of like some torture method. And don't forget his own dreams, too. I need a dark story for this one. The story goes... Actually, wait, I'll tell you the story once we've gotten to the second part. So, that room, the dining room, there's a chest there. But that chest isn't really that important. All it does is give you, like, a health potion, which is really, that is actually important, because you do fight a decent amount of enemies after the second part that you have to fight. There's like this barrier system where if there's a bunch of enemies in the area, they'll just spawn them in. In this one, I'm not having the enemies spawn in yet. I might have some areas where enemies will start to spawn in. But, yeah. Yeah. That's gonna be important, getting potions. The enemies can kill you in 3 hits. You can regenerate a little bit by getting the 3rd combo off, but if you don't know how to do that system, you're probably going to get myrtleized instantaneously. And especially if you come across the headless guys, let me tell you. You can't really get the good 1, 2, 3 combo off on them like you can with the regular guys, the guys with their heads on, because they attack too fast. The guys with their heads on are slow enough to where you can get the combo off, but you have to get the combo off at a decent pace, or else they'll just get a hit on you anyways, and that's not good. And if your health goes into red, you go slow, which is bad for the second part. And now that I've told you about that particular dining room with the health potion and a couple of gold in the chest, let's talk about the story of this place. Now, the reason I think I went at this tangent because for some reason, because we're in like some ancient times, the player character is an orc. I imagine that we're all dwarves. Not quite, because the skeletons are, they're the same size as the player character. But let's just imagine them as whatever nationality dwarves are. I can't remember. What is that? It's not Irish. Is it Scottish? Is it? I don't know. I'm uncultured. I will admit it. I am uncultured, even if I can replicate a certain accent properly. I don't know it, and I am more likely than not doing it improperly. But yes, the characters in here talk about the Warden. The Warden is a pretty scary guy. So the story goes, they're doing experiments on these prisoners, right? And one day the Warden just so happened to decide to conduct an experiment on himself. One would assume that he did this because he knew that the experiment was a success. Question is, why was it considered a success at that point? Who knows? I know, but will I continue building upon it? We'll see. We'll see what happens, but for now... Anyways, back to the story. So all around the area, just like a bunch of these little fallen heroes. These aren't heroes. These are staff members. They are the opposite of heroes. Well, one of them had no choice, but yeah. So, one note talked about how the Warden was devouring the staff's flesh and stuff. That's, after doing so, somehow their corpses became alive. They were slow and fragile. They were able to die in like a few good hits, but they hit like a truck. Yeah, this cat's just sitting off to the side here contemplating. He's been to the Z floor before. He was unprepared. Matter of fact, the cats have this. If the cat goes down to Z floor unprepared, they just look traumatized. That cat's seen some stuff and was able to escape the room. Some rooms you are unable to escape from. These cats are immortal, so if they can't escape a room, it's just now they're stuck there. The only way to get them out is if the ancients were to pull them out. Anyways, back to what I was talking about before. 40 minutes, Jesus! You go through time so quickly. Anyways, we're probably going to just finish the outline and do this thing. So, the inmates and, well, I would say maybe the guards and the staffs and stuff. We'll probably maybe have something for the inmates if I were to continue it. But the guards turned into these walking skeletons because the warden ate their flesh. And they cornered all of the living guards, murdered them. Yet their skeletons didn't turn into, the enemies you see before you. And you gotta wonder why that's the case. Brain is kind of drawing a blank on what to talk about now. Yes, now. The warden. They're talking about the messages about the warden. So, before you go into any of those rooms, you look to the left and break the breakable wooden barrier that's kind of just preventing you from going to that area. Makes sense. They're trying to barricade it. And, like those flimsy barriers would prevent the warden from, coming in and just wrecking their sheet up. But no. There's a corpse sitting right next to this bookcase, leaning up against it, near the door where the warden's, not chambers, like the dungeon is. Like a specific dungeon port. Or maybe it was just the staff, break room, or the main staff room. That the staffs came in through that area to do work deeper into the prison. So, yeah, this area, with the corpse there, you got this guy who's saying that warden went out of control. And that no matter how many times they, hit him, he wouldn't go down. He took hits like a champion. He was powerful. Way too powerful. And the people that he murderized is presumed to be consumed and turned into those walking skeletons. And inside of the door leads this hallway with a staircase. Part of me kind of feels like I should have made the staircase less intact, but maybe we can just assume that on the other end there was supposed to be another staircase, or there was supposed to be a platform, but the platform was destroyed or something. And there's no reason to try to come up with a backstory for that right now. Right now, it's more so just, will I continue working on it? Maybe. Am I going to post each level? Nah. If I do continue working on it, I'll probably just have it set up as a dream, with the whole, level transitions and stuff. We'll see. But, you go into this area, you can see that corpse close to the staircase. And it gives you your first hint. If nobody sees this first hint and thinks they could just take on the warden, well, they're in for a painful experience. So, first things first, he tells you about his run-in with the warden. He got out of that area just in time to not get eaten by him, but he was still dying. Obviously, he was still dying. He died right there, leaving a dying message for any of the staff member who survived. And guess what? Spoilers. None of them survived. So you see him there. You read the message, and it says, "Don't even try to fight this guy. Run. He is way too powerful." Which is true. This guy's invincible, alright? He has 1,000 health, and anytime he loses health, his health resets back to 1,000 to ensure that you cannot, damage him. And alongside that, he does 1,000 damage as well. So no matter what, it's an insta-death. Try to block his attack, it won't work. There's a certain mechanic in the game. There's like a tag that says hurt by fire. Or was it something else? No, it was something else. I had a transmitter and a receiver set up to where once he does his thing and not gets activated, and it activates, I think, the receiver, whichever one has the sphere, I think that's the receiver. To then go to the transmitter, with the transmitter will get the receiver and send that into the thing that disables the shield protection. So even if you try to block his attack, boom, insta-dead. The main character has been slain and game over. Except not really, because there's no lives in this. I should probably put lives. I mean, there is an easy and a hard mode, but I don't exactly know what exactly. Because the game itself, like the original game, the concept, the game itself is goofy. It's childlike. I mean, it makes sense given like the kind of stuff that Media Molecules makes. They had a menu system and all that stuff, but this one's different because it's its own level. I can't really set up a menu system. I would think if I were to make a full-on chapter going in with the abandoned prison, then they would do something. I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would add like a custom level like selection in there, especially since it doesn't really make much sense when you get that down to it. But if they do, well, there you go. Maybe I'll ask them if they can add headless mode. That's right, bro. Headless mode. Now, what headless mode is, it takes that 10% chance to spawn enemies with no head. Makes it a 100% chance. This is essentially this game's hard mode. What that means is that the enemies are fast. Their attack speed is 200%. They still do the same amount of damage, but that's pretty balanced due to the fact that they move fast and attack faster. And like when you see a headless guy like come out of the dark, because you can see their eyes, but because the headless ones have no heads for eyes to go, if there's like a dark spot and a headless spawns there, you're just gonna have this skeleton like coming out at you, hell bent on death, and then just immediate clap. If you're like already like down like at the 40 HP, you're pretty much screwed, bro. That's like an instant death. That's why you gotta like kind of look out there, Alright, this arm looks weird. I'm gonna have it be over here, question mark? Trying to have it be like this or something. Okay. Yeah, because the cat's arms are definitely way more different than humans. Unless I did it like the Chow's and I have it like here, but that's not good. Maybe that looks good. No, it looks good. Anyways, back to what I was talking about before. The second area is the dungeon area. What used to be the main staff's area. Most of the furniture here is no more, but that makes sense because, this is supposed to be a chase area, and also where we're kind of stretching it on the amount of gameplay memory being used anyways, so, Cat just looking at me with it, one ear down. Looking at herself, shakes her head, one ear down, one ear up. But yeah, most of the gameplay memory at this point was pretty much scarce. I learned that if we reach max gameplay meter, the thing stops emitting stuff, which is worrisome for Space Blasters, because, unless I decide to limit the amount of enemies spawning, but I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens later. We only have like 5 more enemy shifts to make for the 7th zone, and there's 3 more zones left. Whether or not I'm going to be able to add all that in, which I hope I can, we need to ensure that we have enough space to be able to spawn some stuff. I'm hoping to end off on 80 at least. Worst case scenario, I just try to reduce the amount of things spawning in. Because if stuff can't spawn in, I mean, you might have some issues with bullets shooting, and you won't be able to shoot or use any abilities, which is kind of annoying. Man, I really wish that we had more space to work with. I don't know how you can make long-ass levels with all of the limitations you have. Surely there is ways to get around that, right? Surely? Anyway, you go into this dungeon area, and you're facing off against the warden. You try to attack him, nothing's gonna happen. You try to attack him, he gets his attack off, you're most likely insta-dead. Unless you can dodge him, but good luck with that. He attacks fast, he runs, he makes these loud stomping noises, and he yells. He's large as well. The dungeon area that you're in currently kind of reduces his movements a little bit, because there's some walls he gets caught on, but that's like the thing with the game's follow mechanic. It's not exactly the best. Follow mechanic isn't really a good AI system to use. Well, I'm sure you can set up an AI in this game. I tell you one thing though, you definitely could set something up pretty easily if it's in like a certain path. You know, part of me kind of wants to make the game similar to Paint Maze, except like, you know, with more 3D models and more, simplistic menu system. Maybe like no achievements or anything like that, and just have everything kind of be on its own system. The thing I was doing with Paint Maze was, I don't know why I'm going into this subject. I'm trying to finish the conversation with the current thing project that I have with Media Molecules template. Why do I keep getting off distracted? I was thinking about going into that bit again, but it's going to be overplayed. Anyways, yeah, you go in there, and your main objective is to find a key. Similar thing. You got a room where you try to find key and fight the enemies, the basic enemies. You find the key, and then you go into another room where you find the key again, but this time it's a chase. The enemy chases you, and he stays on your ass pretty hard. I think he has the same speed as you, which means that if you were to go in there with like low health, and you know when she's at low health when she starts breathing heavily, if you go in there with low health, he's gonna catch you, and he's gonna fix that health problem for you right quick. Gonna be fucking he's gonna dunk on you so hard, you're gonna be thrown right out the map. And that's happened before. When I was trying to open up the key door as quickly as possible, but then he clapped me right outside the wall, right outside the map. Thankfully, he's an insta-kill. Otherwise, I would have probably been... Well, I don't know. I don't think it would have broke the character. I think they'd have something in place if the character falls off the map. And besides... You know, insta-kill enemies, like, you can't really, like, escape him that easily. Sure, you could probably kite him, but, it's really spooky first time around. You go into this, you're like, holy shit! And he comes out of left field, too. He comes out of left field as soon as you go down that ledge, because you can't jump in this game. It's kind of going off of Doom rules, the original Doom. If you go down, you can't jump. So you go down and into that dungeon, you can't escape. You have to run it, or get killed and respawn. And even then, you'll still be stuck. You have no way to go. That door you go through is one way, and, yeah. You still have to go through that dungeon. I don't know what happened. I don't think the keys get reset. I think if you were to die with the key, you'd still have it. which could be a good no, and that's not a good strategy. I forgot about one little tidbit. When you die, the warden despawns, which stops the warden or the big comeback music from playing. And when you go back into it, the warden spawns in the same place. So no matter what, you go back in that dungeon. Once you die, the warden is just waiting there, right outside for you to come back in. And yeah, it's pretty scary. You're not exactly I feel like I made this cat's ass too thick. I need to bring it up. You're not exactly in any way able to fight off the warden. He is unkillable. The only way to technically kill the warden is to go to a zone that deletes the warden. And that zone is the safe zone. Once you're safe, the warden's gone. Thankfully, though, that's the last instance of the warden you come across in this particular level. I might want to have more. I definitely want to have more puzzles in the next area. Some more fighting sequences. I gotta try to learn to space things out a bit more so that I can have more stuff in it. Most of the map size was because of the warden, because you need to have like a big area to like run from him from. But yeah, there's the warden. Terrifying, insta-kill. You are unable to fight him, and you are unable to block his attacks. And alongside that, you got 3 enemies that spawn in there. They spawn pretty close together, though. They're kind of just there off in the darkness. If one of them spawns headless, let me tell you, that's a surprise. And now you got like 2 enemies chasing you. Potentially 3 to 4 if you're that unlucky. Or if you're on a headless mode, 4 enemies guaranteed. You gotta go in with a game plan there. Try not to die. It's even worse if one of the headless guys get a hit on you and you're like already pretty low but not low enough to go slow, and then once it hits you, you got no HP. And Warren just comes up with his freaking big claws. You're trying to run, you're slowly trying to get away, and then he just claps you. You fall down dead. No way to prevent that unless you came prepared or you dodge the attack. You can dodge the attacks for the Warden. You don't have invincibility frames, I don't believe. I haven't really looked into the coding for the main character. Let's see, we got 6 cats here. We got a lot of cats already walking around. I'm going to have a cat walking in this direction, but closer to the camera. But, yeah, that area's pretty terrifying. There's like a button to open up these 2 gates. There's only one way to get into the main giant area to, like, kind of kite the warden more effectively. There's also these breakable walls in, like, a few areas. I made sure to leave, like, one particular area unbreakable so that you have some way to, like, get the warden stuck. So that, like, you can get to the key door more quickly and safely. But other than that, there's a lot of, like, areas, dead-end areas that you think of it, because the key is down a dead-end path. And you go down that path to try to get the key, and the warden's trying to follow you, like, directly where your position is, regardless of where the wall is. So when you try to get around the corner, you turn as quickly as possible. The warden will be stuck behind the wall. And what that means is you can get the key and you'll be fine. Although you'd have to go out and the warden would be there to greet you. That's what you think would happen, right? Okay, I want this cat to smile. Not a lot of cats are smiling here. This one is, but this one is not. So, yes, you think you are safe for a bit in that dead-end area. But there's this cracked-looking wall. And the cracked walls, the berries in this game, are destroyed by explosives. So I made sure to refit that to have the warden, to have like a, detect the warden tag, or whatever the tag it's supposed to be detecting. I think it had big enemy. So it detects big enemy. it detects that. And he breaks that wall down. The lanterns on the wall also get destroyed, which I like. I like that little small detail. The lantern gets destroyed. I probably should put a whisker on this cat right here. Wall gets destroyed, and there's the warden. You grab the key, the warden's right there, and now you're running again. Which is pretty terrifying, I will say. So, once you grab the key, you put the key in the keyhole, you get out. Thankfully, the transition, when you start to transition through the door, the warden stops moving. I don't think they can. All the enemies stop moving when you go through the door, which is helpful. Kind of like Resident Evil-esque when you go through the doors, you just go through this transition scene, except this one's more in-game, rather than a black area surrounded by, or a door surrounded by pitch dark blackness. But, yeah, once you've got past this area, the rest is pretty, pretty hectic, depending on your combat skills. You come to the second floor balcony, which is where the two forced fight scenes are. That's where the barrier is, and that's where you fight 4 enemies at first. And this area is pretty small, too. Like, it's supposed to be like enclosed combat. You need to make sure you use your blocks perfectly, your shields perfectly. And if you want to like kill the enemies quicker, you gotta do the 1, 2, 3 combo, and they'll be dead instantly. No heads will be dropped. You can spam, but it's not advised. Chances of you getting attacked when you spam is greater, because I think it takes like 6. Yeah, it takes 6 spamming hits to kill one of the. I'm gonna call them shamblers. That's what I have the tag replace as enemies, so I don't get the combat music playing. All right, that nose was fine where it was before. I don't know why I moved it. But yes, you're in a small enclosed area. It's like the best way I can describe it is these block areas. Here's the block, and here's the size of the player. I think just about like the door here. You go here. Yeah, just about here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like a line here and 9. And reverse that because, well, yeah, in your perspective, reverse that. Wait, is that reversed? Wait, hold on. All right, I'm going this direction. Oh, no, wait, that is, yeah, reverse that. You fight 4 enemies here, which is not that bad. 3 of them are a little bit more confined. 1 is closer to the door. I think the first enemy, if it spawns as a headless, will immediately detect you, I think, and it will immediately come towards you. The best way to deal with headless enemies is to block. Right? Block and spam 3 times attack as quickly as you can. And then block again and spam 3 times again. That's how I've always dealt with it. And it's usually successful. Usually I can get off without a hit. If there's more than 1... headless shamblers, then oh boy, that becomes a pain, especially if they get alternating attack patterns in. Especially if it's more than 2, like my god, 1 is bad enough. 2 comes in? If 2 comes in, you best have a health potion ready, because otherwise you're just gonna get destroyed. But yeah, this one doesn't have much in the way of the traps. There's a lot of traps in the kit, but this one isn't going to have traps. It's more so just introducing you to this new enemy type, the Shambler. Completely different. It's similar to the Skelegrabber in like appearance, but it's completely different. This arm should probably be bigger. This cat's a little bit more chunkier though. Let me see if I can fix that. Not too chunky, but big enough to look like, these guys. But yeah, this it definitely is a lot more unique compared to the game setup. They have that setup making it like thinking that the player would just like make similar levels that they've made. Oh, but they didn't expect me now, did they? They probably did actually. Maybe they weren't expecting me to take the Skelegrabber, turn it into a common enemy that does a crap ton of damage but is weak, as well as make another Skelegrabber and modify that to make that terrifying looking warden. This warden's all red. He looks like even one of the characters. I think, like, towards the end of one of the last notes, say they were chased by a giant muscular bag of flesh and muscles. Indicating that the warden is actually, fleshy and no skin. Okay, well, we didn't say skinless, but I think red pretty much indicates that he's entirely just muscle at that point. No more skin. Whatever transformation he went through gave him these sick-ass spikes, his bulkier, buffer build, and this almost invincible complex. I say almost, but it's most certainly is indeed, in fact, invincible. Whether or not I'm going to decide to make him a boss fight you can take on, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how that fight would go. Trying to fight something like that would be a pain in the ass, especially if we made it so that he had, a lot of health. Plus, he only really has 2 attacks. And I don't really feel like trying to animate more of that stuff in. Especially since it's not even my animation, and it's not even my coding. How the hell am I supposed to work with coding there? I'd have to utilize my own code. Make my own code, while also trying to learn how to work with a damn puppet. Puppets are something I've never worked with before, so it'll be interesting to see if I could work with it. If I were to do something with the warden, it would have to be something like a massive chase scene. The final level's a chase scene, and you gotta try to, outrun and outdodge him and get to certain areas of safetyness. There's also, this is another thing. There's this mechanic in this game where you can roll underneath small enough spaces, but I have barely seen that, and that was not even used, or at least not anything apparent. I was able to collect all 15 of the treasures without it, but they implemented that mechanic and only used it at the one time. So I have an idea to use that mechanic in what will probably be the next warden chase scene, where you go underneath something. You go underneath a small area that the warden can't break through. Or we can have another sequence where the warden can break through it, but you can't break through it. So he will destroy you if you don't try to get out of there. That is actually a perfect idea, though. I definitely should try to do that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Is this cat's head a bit too thick or body a bit too thick? I mean, look at the cats here. They have a certain look and appearance. Or it could just be this being the size that it is. Alright, that's interesting. I mean, it looks weird down here, but its legs are supposed to, be down here and down here. Trust me, it'll look fine. It's fine as is, Yeah, because you're further ahead. Are you? Okay, I'm gonna put you forward a little bit more. And I think I might have to make you guys bigger as well. Yep. Couple of cats over here doing their thing. Just looking at these derpy looking cats here. Just hilarious. But yes. We're running into an hour and 10 minutes now. Okay, yeah, it took me like an hour to draw all these cats here, outline them all. You know what? We can put one more in, so I can keep talking about this game. This is what you call it. So, yes, the warden, that stuff is done. After the warden, like I said, the barrier stuff, all that, you got 4 enemies coming up in the forced fight. And then in the next area, you got 6 enemies coming up. And, you think you can try to, I'm going to just copy them out so that this is, I don't have to go through. Oh, wait, I should do this. So when you go through the level, when you go through a door or a certain area, the enemies spawn in as so. Wait, this might not work. Unless I could probably make this work. I just gotta probably adjust this. So you come in through the level, any enemies spawn when you enter like a certain point. And when they spawn in, they are there, right? There's a little like exploit you could do in the beginning where you can like spawn in the 5 enemies on either side of the first area. And you can get only one and you only have one enemy spawning in the next area you're going to. I made sure to account for that by making sure that going into the door with the warden area activates a tag called safe that deletes the enemy, all of the enemies in the area that spawn, and it only works in the one-way door. So once the door opens and the key plays, the safe thing will be deactivated, and that'll be it. You won't be able to go back down the one-way door, because you'll be going up the second floor. The second floor, which is located in a few areas. Whoops. But yeah. Once you go into this area, you all the enemies that you didn't kill gets destroyed. So once you go into the next area, the 3 enemies in the warden area spawns. The warden will still spawn as well. If the warden doesn't spawn, then that means that the game is broken, and I have to fix it and do all more tests. But because the enemies despawn when you go through that door, the warden will spawn, and the 3 enemies will also spawn alongside the warden. I mean, the warden has less logic because I deleted the death logic, the headless logic, because he's never going to lose his head. He's a new enemy, an invincible enemy that you cannot kill and you need to run from. So, he's less resource intensive. So it made sense that he was able to spawn, but not many of the enemies. And of course, he's the first one to spawn. So once you leave the area, the warden despawns alongside the 3 enemies in there, and the area is barren of enemies, right? And you go into the next area, 4 enemies. You are forced to kill them, no matter what. And then you go through the next area with 6 enemies. They're spread out. Or is it 5 enemies? I think it's 5 enemies. They're spread out. There's like 2 on the bridge, one in that, on like one of the top cell floors, and then 2 on the other top cell floors. And it's another area room that you have to kill the enemies to get through. Once you go through there, there's only going to be 3 enemies spawning. You don't have to kill them. Once you get to that point, you just make a beeline to the exit door and boom, level completed. You go through this dark hallway to make it look like it's dark and it continues forward, but that's just level transition room. And after that, boom, level completed, and you would go to the next one if there was a next one. Of course, there's a treasure mechanic in the game. There is a treasure in this area, and there's even one of the notes hint that there is a treasure. I'm not going to spoil it. You guys can find it yourselves if you want to try it. And why not? It's an interesting game. Media Molecules did a pretty good job with the models that they have. I modified... Oh god. We don't want Big Chungus Cat over here. Hell no. Rounder. Round, but not round, fat neck. You, boy, have a fat neck. Put this over here. But yeah, we did what we could with what we got. Made an interesting little concept for a horror action game using what they have. I'll say it looks pretty decent. And will I continue it? Maybe. We will see. We got a cute orc girl to play as, to try to bash these skeletons back to where they've come. And we got a warden to be terrified about. chasing us down, breaking through walls, and one-shotting us. Yeah. That cat has extendo arms. Hold on. God dang it. God damn it. Now, this cat over here, the realm of the cats have more freedom to move around in certain personal rooms that they are permitted to go to. Kind of like visitors. Like, yeah, you could probably have visitor cats to come into your personal room. You know, stuff like that. It seems fun. Just have cats walking around doing their thing. They won't scratch anything, unlike you, who's sleeping calmly, and I shouldn't disturb or else she's going to be on my ass like ugly on an ape. And, yeah. This guy's going up. He looks derpy, but, you know, what ROTC cat doesn't? No. The ancients are the exception here. Yeah, that's right, we're going through the outlining process. Only the outlining process. Will I make a coloring part? Not really. I'm gonna just stick with outlining for a bit. Maybe I'll make a third part showing the hallways as I color it in. And I'll show you the finished product of this and then publish it. But, yes. We are almost done with the outlining process. Which is just about good, too, because, I've reached the end of our topic. I don't very much know what to say now. Except, thanks for, sticking around with this video. If you enjoyed part 1, you can give that a like. If you enjoyed this one, also give it a like. Cat's head over here probably be adjusted a little bit more. And, yeah. I think that finishes up the outlining process. Maybe make this cat a little bit bigger. I already have a swatch set for this. Let me save the current swatch in here. Is Weird Factory. Boom. I'm gonna pull up the Round the Cats right here. We got that set up. The coloring process for this one's easy, such a small amount of colors. So yeah. Well, that basically covers it up for the outline process of this drawing. We have an hour into this, longer than I wanted to, but you know what, that's fine. It seems like shorter videos do better than longer ones. So, I don't know, maybe I'll try to shorten some of them. If conversations go on for long enough and I'm interested in wanting to talk about it, then yeah, I'll talk about it. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you like this. Talk about the ROTC cats and that new mini project. It's not the main project, trust me on that one. If it was a main project, I'd be planning on making a menu for it, but nah, it's more so just contributing to Medium Molecule's already made kit. Also, it would just be a good way to get Space Blaster some more recognition, even if it is just a demo. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I've already said it before, but like, comment, subscribe, tell me how I'm doing. I am not exactly the most conversative person or social person. So hopefully, me being alone, talking to myself, to you, has shown that I do have my moments. I mean, you guys don't see it. I'm mostly talking about those who I, actually conversate with in real life. So, end recording, end it all. Shut it all down, cat. Shut it down. Come on. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, that's right. You see this? See this hand? Go on, attack it. See if I can get the cat to show her face one more time. If I do make a part 3 of the video, middle of Made of love. Wait, I have an idea. So you can't see the battery is dead, but unless maybe the gravity for the power. Nope, she's just sitting there staring at me, getting ready to assault my hands. Well, anyways, guys, showing yourself today. Well, she already showed herself. Alright, bye. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Goodbye.